All righty then. Good morning, guys. We are live here at Extol Media Studios in Uptown New Albany. It is the Ben at 10 show where we talk about all things weather throughout Southern Indiana and beyond for who knows, anywhere from 35, 40, 45 minutes, maybe 50 minutes, depending on how the conversation goes this morning. So we'll wait for some folks to get on board here. And again, thanks for tuning in, whether it's on my page, Ben Peine. You can find us all over the place. Extol Weather on Facebook, Extol Media on YouTube, and extolmag.com/weather online. So today we're talking about summer has a lot of gas left in the tank because we're going to be pretty hot and dry for the rest of this week. Small weekend rain chances. And then next week as fall begins on Monday at 2:19 p.m. on the 22nd. After that, it looks like our weather pattern will become a bit more active. And we have some weather jokes, stupid weather jokes. We've got your weather history. There's a bunch of weather history and more on the good old Ben at 10 show. So if you are popping in, let me know where you're watching from. If you have any weather questions, as always, we're right here for that. Taking a look outside as well. Oops. Hey, Jason, do you mind getting that window back open? I don't know if Jason can hear me. We've got the shade on the window screen, but we'll take a different look outside here. And that is right there. Here's a look here with the Falls of the Ohio Foundation.org camera. I'm looking there at the fossil beds in the Falls of the Ohio and the city skyline in the background there along the Clarksville and New Albany waterfront. We'll have some high clouds drifting over us, and it's kind of interesting. Those high clouds actually drifting over us from a little coastal low, a little tropical low system there over North Carolina and Virginia. So we'll take a look at that as well here in just a second. So it has been a nice, beautiful start to the day, by the way. I want to bring up, look at this picture right here from Robert Fisher. A majestic morning, he says, and he put this on our Indiana Skies Facebook group. Go ahead and join that too. If you have any cool weather pictures or whatever, you can post them there at Indiana Skies Facebook group. So you can search that and you should be able to find that real easy. But thanks again to Robert Fisher there in Hanover, Indiana, showing us a fabulous start to the day there. Let's get to those weather headlines here. Air quality alert today. So it is a code orange air quality alert. We'll discuss that more. That's for sensitive groups. If you have asthma, COPD, breathing issues, may want to limit that time outdoors because we just don't have much of a wind out there. Some of that sunshine going to be baking on the pollutants, and we build up ground level ozone and again some of the particulates, and it doesn't make for the best air quality. Hot and dry pattern, as I mentioned, for the rest of this week. A small weekend rain chance, and then some better rain chances next week. We'll look at that with our long range outlook as well here in just a second. And speaking of that code orange air quality alert, there you can see there's green, yellow, orange, red, purple, and then like a maroon color there. So this is just kind of unhealthy, again, for sensitive groups. So as I mentioned, sensitive groups may experience some health effects. The general public is not likely to be affected by that. Your play ball forecast here for today, 82 at noon, partly to mostly sunny, some high clouds drifting over us, upper 80s, and then upper 70s at 8 p.m. No rain chance today, northeast breeze at around 5 to 10. And we actually had 92 at Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport yesterday. That's kind of the official weather observation site for our region. And so that was the first 90 this month, and the first 90 since we hit 95 back on October the 19th. So we've had a nice stretch of too dry weather and some nice temperatures. So, but it was kind of a friendly 92. I mean, the humidity still hasn't been too bad out there for us. So let me go ahead and get out of this screen right here really quickly. We'll pop up a couple comments, and then we'll move right along here on our Tuesday, September the 16th. We've got Orlean Whitlow, good morning, 62 there in Hodgenville early this morning, 69 now. So, yeah, some nice cool low temperatures, cool nights, and hot afternoons. Kind of just a semi-arid atmosphere that we have. It's kind of dry. John Fox popping in the comments this morning from the Okolona area. Good morning to you, sir. Hope you're having a good day or a good morning so far. And let me get rid of this, and bring up this. So this is extolmag.com/weather. We talk about it every day. You've got a lot of local weather tools there. Our live show is up right now. Thanks for liking or subscribing to the YouTube channel. And the 7-day forecast, brand new, slapped it on there, uploaded it this morning. Interactive radar, current conditions, which shows 64 degrees currently. The weather story. Any severe weather outlooks are there. The drought monitor comes out every Thursday. And if you have any, you just want to check out some of the traffic cameras across the area, you can zoom into wherever you want to go. This is at 265 and Charlestown Road, where everything looks just peachy here on this Tuesday morning. Okay, back to the big old radar here and plopping on the temperatures. There you can see our temps again in the 60s. Won't take long to get into the 70s and then 80s later this afternoon. Closest rain there over eastern Virginia into Delaware. That is a coastal low. And then back farther out west over parts of the Great Plains. There's some rain, and then a little bit down in Tennessee as well. But high and dry over our region. Again, almost no breeze out there. The anemometers that measure the wind, not showing much of a breeze out there today. And my mom, Lori Young, popping in. Good morning, Mom. Love your Emmy. I remember when you won it. Oh, that thing right there? It was just sitting around collecting dust at home. So I said, why not put it on the show? So there you go. Lillian Lasley, good morning to you. 71 at the house. Like we said, wouldn't take long to get up into the 70s here. A couple shout outs before we get rolling along. If you're new to the show, we give you the forecast off the bat, which we just did. Then we're going to do a deep dive into the forecast, weather jokes, weather history, all that fun stuff. And then we're going to do the weather model future forecast with the weather models, digging into the weather model data at around 10:20 typically. We'll see how long that goes. If you have any weather questions, you never know where the show might go. The Atlantic hurricane season, it peaks in mid-September right now. So we are starting to see some development with these waves coming off of Africa. There's wave number 2, 20% chance. Then this wave has a 90% chance of cyclone formation, storm formation over the next 7 days. The National Hurricane says showers and thunderstorms associated with a broad low-pressure area located about midway between the Windward Islands and the coast of West Africa, so right in the middle of the Atlantic, is better organized since yesterday, so environmental conditions are conducive for the additional development of a tropical depression or storm within the next day or two as the system moves west-northwest around 10 to 15 miles per hour. So that would be the next storm. That would be Tropical Storm Gabrielle, I believe, if that one does form. All right. Shout out to our partners here, and then we'll get rolling into that forecast. Lyons Roofing, Lyons. You can get free estimate there, protecting your most valuable asset for a lifetime, that being your home. And you go to lyonsroofingco.com for more information and call them either side of the river. They do residential, commercial, custom home builds. You can learn more about their company and what they have to offer. Locally owned family company here in Memphis, Indiana, 812-294-3595. If you go to their careers section, there's still an opportunity here for you, a roofing repair technician job. Speaking of jobs, here's Libs Paving. That is L-I-B, B as in Ben, S paving.com, top asphalt paving contractor around. I give them the forecast every day and try to help them out. And they're actually in my neighborhood doing a job. I passed by them this morning. Anyway, there's a lot of job opportunities right there where you can apply online at libspaving.com, and you can level up your career, get a new career, get trained for a new career with Ivy Tech Community College, Sellersburg campus, right here in our backyard, powering the workforce in Southern Indiana. Today's Tuesday. That means Tuesdays at the Tech, where you can get one-on-one help registering for classes. They've got a couple different fall sessions. Fall session number 1 happening now. You can get in-person assistance and much, much more right there. If you want to schedule a visit to meet the instructors and some of the administration there. September 21st coming up, the day before fall begins officially. 4-week fall class session number 1 ends. And then September 22nd, the actual first day of autumn, the fall 12-week classes begin. The 4-week fall class session number 2 begins. So you've got some time if you want to register for that. Also, I want to give a shout out to my buddy Michael Long here with American Family Insurance. Tell him I sent you for a quote. They're one of the few car companies or insurance companies that have dropped their car renewal prices. So you may want to check that out. Give him a call, 812-578-3072. Proud to be an American Star certified agency, excellence in customer experience, amfam.com, and just go to Michael Long. So thanks to our partners. Thanks to you guys for being here as well. We've just got some speckled clouds out there this morning mixed with a lot of sunshine. This is the Falls of the Ohio Foundation.org camera that looks along the waterfront here. And we're going to bring back up that forecast and really start to dig in here on this Tuesday. So very quiet for the rest of this week, and then we are going to see some probably a busier weather pattern next week as fall officially begins. And we've got Perry Porter popping in the comments saying, thinking about working in the creek behind me, but there's not much water in it. Yeah, the good old muddy fork. Not much water running through it at the moment. Although we did get that decent rain here recently, but that probably washed out pretty quickly. Also, if you have any weather questions, you want to connect, Ben at extolmag.com, Jason at extolmag.com. If you want to see your business, your organization logo up on our products, it might be our show here, Ben at 10, but I also post throughout the day, over 1 million views per month, and we can get your word out. There you go. Ben at extolmag.com, Jason at extolmag.com. There's the beautiful sunrise here from Robert Fisher in Hanover, Indiana. He posted that to our Indiana Skies page. Thank you, Robert, for that. And again, the weather headlines, code orange air quality alert for sensitive groups today. Hot and dry pattern, small weekend rain chance, and then better rain chances next week. There's that code orange there. General public generally not affected by a code orange air quality alert. And going to the upper 80s today, again, it hit 92 yesterday, believe it or not. But it's been fairly dry air, so it's kind of friendly low 90s. So upper 80s, low 90s in Louisville, in the city, by the airport, by all that concrete and that asphalt. You might hit 90, 91, maybe 92, but generally a lot of the area is just going to be in the upper 80s today. Time for those stupid weather jokes. And these might be on a spectrum of stupidity, more towards the really stupid jokes this time. So I've got 4 on here because how bad they are. What did one raindrop say to the other? 2's company, 3's a cloud. 3's a crowd, get it? What type of humor does a dust storm have? A very dry sense of humor. What happens when the smog lifts over Los Angeles? UCLA. Not bad. I tried to catch some fog earlier. I missed. Ba-dum-ch. I need a sound effect right there. There you go. There's the stupid weather jokes for today. A lot of weather history by the day. 1881, Iowa's earliest measurable snow of record fell over western sections of the state. 4 to 6 inches reported there in western Iowa. So those first snow records starting to pop up on the weather history as we get closer to fall. 1888, a tornado in Washington, D.C., probably an EF2, traveled up Maryland Avenue before it lifted. At the foot of Capitol Hill, the Smithsonian and the Botanical Gardens were damaged along the 2-mile path. I love these really old records. Here's a bad one. 1928, a hurricane made landfall in South Florida, passing over Lake Okeechobee. The official death toll in Florida was set at 1,800 people. That is insane, though more research suggests that the number of dead may have been as high as 4,000. 1961, Hurricane Esther, easy for me to say, was seeded by Navy planes in the inaugural experiment of what was to be formerly the Project Storm Fury the next year. Esther was the first hurricane to be initially detected by satellite on September 10th, 1961. Tyros 3 imaged an area of disturbed weather about southwest of the Cape Verde Islands. Interesting. 1999, massive Category 4 Hurricane Floyd comes ashore in North Carolina. And then in 2004, there was some bad flooding with that. 2004, Hurricane Ivan made landfall in Alabama as a Cat 3. And that one after making landfall, took a track towards Tennessee, east to Maryland, back offshore to South Florida, westward in the Gulf, and then making yet another landfall in Louisiana. That is crazy. It did a big loop. There's your weather history for today. How many days until autumn begins? In 6 days. Average highs in the 60s in 33 days. Halloween in 45. Average first flurries in 60 days. But summer, again, still has some gas left in the tank. Summer's last gas, perhaps, here over the next week as it stays a bit hot and dry across the area. And with the dry weather, we have a lot of pollen flying around, mostly that ragweed pollen out there. And for today, our sunset at 7:48, partly to mostly sunny and hot, very warm / hot, depending on your definition, going 89 for that high temperature, but the humidity still relatively low. So kind of a friendly heat out there. 65 our low for tonight, had low to mid 60s this morning. It'll be the same for tonight as well. And the forecast here for tomorrow, your Wednesday, September the 17th, our hump day, 65 out the door, 80 at noon, 88 for the afternoon high. Normal high is 82, so 6 above normal, and normal low is 62. Sunrise 7:26 and setting at 7:47. I'm not enjoying these really dark mornings. It's hard to wake up. All righty, here is that 7-day forecast. And Lillian, I saw your message there. I have sound on my end, so maybe that is on yours. Yeah, so I have audio, Lillian, so you might want to check your system out there. Here at 10:16, we'll bring back up the 7-day forecast. 88 Wednesday, 90 degrees for Thursday, 91 on Friday. I think most of us are going to stay dry Friday as that small chance of a shower stays out to our west, mostly west of I-65. And then just a 20% chance. The models aren't showing a whole lot this weekend. I think we'll see a lot more dry weather than an isolated pop-up shower or storm, with temperatures in the mid to upper 80s. And same through Monday. I think around Tuesday, Wednesday timeframe, we might start to see a chance of rain increasing. So yeah, Lillian said no sound, and then Perry says you're sounding good. And Lillian, the sound is back on. I'm glad it's all working out there for you. Okay, let's go ahead and now head to the weather models here, as we've now made it through the forecast. And man, wow, we're 17 minutes in and we haven't said hello to Big Happy here. There we go. All right, we're moving along. So I need to bring this up, move that out of the way. I'm directing a little bit of traffic here with our program. So here is the radar and satellite. What I think is slightly interesting here, if you look closely, there's some high clouds drifting our direction. And so if I go ahead and let me see if I can bring up the telestration. So here's some of the high clouds moving in from the east. Typically, our weather comes in from the west and northwest. So what is up with that? So as we look to our east, what do we see? There is a little kind of coastal tropical low here near Virginia Beach. So Virginia up towards Maryland and Delaware, you've got that low pressure system right here. And so that is spilling some clouds our way, but we won't get any rain from that. So at times today, you may see some high clouds and just wave off to the east because that's coming all the way from the coast. Some of those clouds right there today. Now, as I bring up the bigger view, the entire continental United States, pretty quiet weather overall. There is some showers over parts of the Great Plains, the Northern Rockies, and then you got some showers down here in Tennessee, in near Asheville, North Carolina. But for us, again, pretty high and dry. So let's go ahead and get out of the full screen there. Very quickly, want to check out the high resolution weather models. Perhaps there was maybe like a south central Kentucky chance of a shower, but again, it looks like a very slim chance of that. So this is the NAM 3 kilometer, and it will zoom. Ooh, too much of a zoom there. Going into the afternoons, we heat things up. So there's what I'm talking about. So if you are down around south of the Bluegrass Parkway here, Lebanon, Campbellsville, Columbia, maybe Greensburg, there you can see a small chance of a little shower down that way. You would be very lucky to get that shower down that direction, but everywhere else is pretty much dry. So maybe a very slight chance of a pop-up. It looks like south of the Bluegrass Parkway in Kentucky today, closer to the Tennessee state line. So that is it for that weather model. Then we bring up the HRRR, the high resolution rapid refresh weather model for today, and look at those closest rain chances. And again, it looks like that'll be mainly off to the south or southern Kentucky, again, closer to the Tennessee state line. The HRRR does not have much. Most of the rain down in Tennessee for today. So that is that. So we are already done with the high resolution weather models here at 1020. So now we're going to look at the longer range data here in just a second. This is the dew point map, by the way, for today, the measure of water content in the air. And the dew points are low. I don't think they'll be quite that low, but that is a dry heat still. Where you see the dew points are higher, where there's more humidity in the air, that's where we're seeing that better chance for a few of these pop-up showers. And then out west, too, in the Great Plains. So a lot of times there's a high correlation between, obviously, more moisture in the air and a chance for some rain. So, again, just the air just a little bit too dry over us to produce any rain today. And it will stay dry for quite some time as well. Bringing up here as we start to go into the long range, that means it's time for the Ben on a limb. We're going to go out on a limb here and go into the long range forecast. So let me bring up the GFS high resolution weather model. We'll stick with the dew points here and see if those dew points start to go up at any point in time for us. So this is looking at the 17th. It's still pretty dry air over our area, thankfully. Going to the 18th. The 18th is, so today's the 16th. This is Friday the 18th. Not much moisture out there. And I will show you for Friday, when I bring up the reflectivity, which is your rainfall. Wait, no, 18th is Thursday. 19th is Friday. Let me get it right. So Thursday's dry. Going into the 19th. So this is our Friday. See some showers out to the west. Will they ever make it here? So there's what we're talking about. There's that slight chance of a shower Friday west of I-65. But a lot of the area will be dry Friday, and that better chance towards Friday evening, Friday night for a shower. And again, the western half of the area. And with that, that is probably where we're going to see a little more moisture in the air and exactly what we're talking about. This is the dew point map. So notice this kind of a moisture gradient. So here out west, chance of those showers. East, the air is too dry still. When we're tracking dew points like this is, and we're just trying to find a change in the atmosphere, you know the weather is very quiet. And that is what we have here in mid-September. Very quiet weather pattern. Didn't want to bring that one up. I was going to bring up the precipitable water, which is if you can wring out the atmosphere, how much water you can get out of the air. So this is our Friday evening. And so where you see yellow, that is a higher level of water content in the atmosphere. So that is why that chance of rain is a little greater out to our west Friday. Now going into our Saturday, the 20th, pretty dry air, not a lot to work with. The GFS is pretty much dry Saturday, and then into Sunday, the 20th. No. Saturday the 20th. Now we're going here. Here's Sunday, the 21st. You see higher rain chances out west. And I guarantee that correlates with where there's more moisture in the air. So we look at the dew points, and there you can see we're dew point tracking here. There's the higher level of moisture. There's the better chance of rain through this weekend. Eventually, I do think that'll head our direction. Going into our first day of fall, which begins at 2:19 on a Monday, still higher levels of moisture out west. And again, if you're new to the show, we are digging into the weather nerd portion of the show with the weather models here. So here is a look at the future radar. This is Monday. It shows the higher chance of rain still staying out to our west. Going into Tuesday, will we start to see an increasing chance of some showers? Maybe a front stalls out over the region. But so I've got a 40% chance of rain Tuesday, reflecting this a little bit of a higher chance on the models here. And if we, again, look at the dew point map, there you can see the dew points do go up over us. The moisture levels go up on Tuesday. So we've got some moisture to work with ahead of this punch of Canadian dry air. But if the front stalls out, we may get a shot of it. But I could see there being a gradient or a quick change in temperatures from north to south across the area at some point next week, as these fronts try to make it through and then might get hung up. So let's bring up the temperature here. Let's actually go back to Tuesday, the 23rd. This is at 5 p.m. Tuesday. It does show the potential for some cooler temperatures right after fall begins. We'll see if that happens. Going into Wednesday next week, so a week out here, it's got a little bump in the temperatures again. We might have to watch here, as again, summer has a little more gas in the tank as we get towards latter days of September. This is September 24th. Notice some heat building to the south. And so that would maybe get some stationary fronts to hang up and actually get us some extra rain chances as well. All right, so that is Wednesday. Let's go into next Thursday. Not this Thursday. This is next Thursday. So this would be an indication of a stationary front. You've got this hot air down south, cooler air trying to come in from the north, and they are equally matched. If we get a stationary front, that would give us the lift for the rain chances we need to try to combat the drought conditions that we have across the area. So next week, we will see if this plays out, which is the battle of cool versus summer, like autumn versus summer battleground next week. And if that happens, we'll have increasing rain chances. Parts of our area, especially southern Indiana, might get a shot of some cool air one day. And then if the warm front lifts back to the north, you might be back to some hot air. So that means the weather pattern next week could become more active, which is great for me. That gives me some extra things to talk about, because the weather, as we know, has been very, very quiet, which is not great for a broadcast meteorologist. You want something to talk about here. So this might give us some things to talk about next week. All right, let me get rid of that and pop the temperatures back up. So this is like next Thursday. This shows the potential that we could at times be on the cool side of the front, and then just really hot weather down south. We'll see how it plays out. Again, we're in the bend on a limb segment. These things change, but there might be kind of that battleground over the Ohio Valley and the Midwest, autumn versus summer next week. Battle Royale. Precipitable water. So relatively dry. I'm going to bring back the dew point. That might show it better. So yeah, there's the stationary front next week. You got the dry Canadian air here. You got the summer-like air here. And again, we're right in the middle. All right, let me bring up the reflectivity. And let me go a little bit back in time here. So this is next Wednesday. With that stationary front over the region, perhaps, again, we're seeing a better chance of rain by the middle of next week. If we can get into a wetter pattern, maybe if we could like kind of reseed our yards, put some fertilizer out, help it heal after our drought conditions. So this is like Thursday next week, still showing some rain chances. That is indicative of a stationary front over the region, which kind of acts like a rain highway and gives us plentiful chances of rain. All right, so we'll see if it happens. The European weather model actually develops kind of a closed-off upper-level low, which would also promote a busier weather pattern and more rain chances as well. All right, I'm going to take this out to the farthest we can go with the GFS weather model. We'll just go like into October. October 1st, what does it want to give us? Oh, that would be nice. That'd be real nice. Some nice 70s there, October 1st. So that's the long-range outlook. Let's go ahead and bring up real quick the Climate Prediction Center's confidence in their temperature pattern. This is the 6 to 10 day outlook, and you got it. They are betting on above normal temperatures across most of the United States. 6 to 10 days out. And above normal now means above around 81, 82 degrees. So if you're in the mid 80s, that means above normal. So it doesn't mean hot, hot, hot. It just means above normal. So generally here, the last half of September, most likely overall above normal. But I do think there's a chance next week we could get some shots of some cooler air at times, especially in southern Indiana. And then here is the 8 to 14 day outlook. And it still shows a lot of the country under an above normal temperature pattern. Now, if you're a storm chaser and you're wanting some storms, it's limited. There's a slight risk over Nebraska today. Just not severe weather season, as we know. Day two, severe weather outlook. No area designated for severe weather. Very quiet this time of the year. Now the tropics. We can bring that up. There is a system west of Baja California. That is Mario out there in the Pacific. And then we're watching this low pressure system, Invest 92. That would become Tropical Storm Gabrielle here in the central Atlantic and maybe not affect the United States. Thankfully, we have so far, knock on wood, have been escaping the tropical and hurricane threat this year. So hopefully, again, that will continue. All right. So that has been Ben on a limb. We will see what happens next week when we get there. But there's the forecast for you. And we'll take another live look outside here in just 1 second. So here we go. Let me bring this back up. Beautiful conditions out there this morning. We're now starting to make our way from the 60s to the 70s, and some of those high clouds, as we saw on the radar and satellite, spilling in from a little tropical low off of the Carolinas and Virginia and Maryland and Delaware. It's giving us a little high cloud cover, filtering out just a tad bit of that sunshine at times for today. All right, got a couple comments that I saw popping in. We got Vicky Berger. Good morning, Vicky there from Salem with 76 degrees. Dennis Gregory, good morning. All that sunshine out there from Bedford, Indiana. Thanks for tuning in here as well. Dennis, again, from Bedford, Indiana. So, again, our quiet weather pattern continues. Let's get back to, let's go ahead and load up that forecast. Get rid of that and bring this up. So, again, I want to thank Robert Fisher for this beautiful shot of our morning sky. You can, a majestic morning, he called it, and I agree. So you can send any pictures you want. Just head over to our Indiana Skies Facebook group, and a lot of cool pictures there to check out as well. And Perry Porter saying this Friday is the last concert at the park in Borden. Concerts at the Creek. So there you go. There's something to do for this Friday. And as we recap the forecast, your weather headlines for our September 16th air quality alert today. It's a code orange for sensitive groups, not for the general public. Hot and dry weather pattern. Kind of a stagnant weather pattern. Upper 80s, low 90s through the rest of this week. A small weekend rain chance. A lot of the area will stay dry. Better rain chances next week, as we saw with the GFS weather model, where we might get a stationary front that kind of hangs up over the area. There's that code orange air quality that we have for today. Play ball forecast 82 at noon. We are heading out to Jeffersonville for some tennis this evening. Upper 80s. They've got a beautiful tennis complex out there. 79 at 8 p.m. Again, we can kind of cool off at nighttime, which is nice to give the AC a bit of a break. Got your stupid weather jokes here. What did one raindrop say to the other? Two's company, three's a cloud. What type of humor does a dust storm have? A dry sense of humor. What happens when the smog lifts over Los Angeles, UCLA? I had to add an extra joke because these were not the best. I tried to catch some fog earlier. I missed. I don't know how many more jokes are out there that I can gather up. We'll see. Today's weather history. I'll post this here around noon today, but 1881, Iowa's earliest snowfall. 1888, tornado hit Washington, D.C., and this was a crazy one. 1928, a hurricane hit South Florida. Possibly either 1,800 people or up to 4,000 died as it passed over Lake Okeechobee. That is wild. There's a lot of these I have no clue. Never even heard of it. Yeah, we're 6 days away until autumn begins on Monday. Average highs in the 60s in about a month. Halloween in 45 days. Average first flurries in about 60 days. We got a lot of ragweed flying around on your allergy report. It remains high. In the forecast summary today for your Tuesday, September the 16th, 89 degrees, that high temperature, partly sunny, and depending on your definition, I wouldn't quite call it hot. I would call it very warm because the humidity isn't too bad. No extra heat index. Northeast wind at 5 to 10, sunset at 7:48. And tonight, low of 65 degrees, clear and mild, and just a light east breeze. Sun up at 7:26. Our Wednesday, September the 17th, like today, upper 80s, maybe touching around 90 in the cities. And again, we did hit 92 for the first time, I think, since October 19th at Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport yesterday. So we went a long stretch, almost a month without 90s, which is fairly rare for late summer. That was a nice stretch of weather. 7-day forecast, 88 tomorrow, 90 Thursday, 91 Friday. Again, some cool, mild nights. So that is nice to have that nighttime relief. Feels great in the morning if you want to get that morning jog or walk in. We can continue to do that as the humidity stays low. I've got this small rain chance late Friday, mainly out to our west. I think most of the area stays dry, and then just a 20% chance of an isolated shower or storm that might try to pop up this weekend. Right now, I'm thinking next Tuesday, Wednesday, we could start to see that better chance of rain across the area. All right, so that is the forecast in detail. Let me get rid of that, bring this back up. And a reminder, at any time during the day, you can always get a lot of weather information here at extolmag.com/weather. Interactive radar there, powered for you. Let me hit the refresh button. And so there's our live stream up right now, powered by Facebook, or not Facebook, powered by YouTube. EXTOL Media. Search that on YouTube. Thanks for liking or subscribing, getting those notifications there. And again, when the weather becomes more active, it'll be perhaps more important that you get that notification if we're going to be tracking severe weather, maybe for longer, at maybe any time of the day. There's some more maps and resources. And again, that interactive radar, you can pop on the temperatures, and we are now well into the 70s. When we started off the show, we were in the 60s, now seeing 76, 74, 77 across the area, depending on the location. All right, Lillian, got to go to the lung doctor tomorrow. I hope everything goes well for you there. And again, I want to thank our partners here at Lions Roofing, lionsroofingco.com. LYONS roofingco.com. You can get free estimates right there. And they've got you covered on both sides of the river. 812-294-3595. So whether you're in Kentucky or Indiana, they can help you out right there. And you can see they also have they do a lot of drone over their latest homes that they've put new roofs on their Facebook page. So you can see a lot about their entire company right here out of Southern Indiana. Job postings all over the place here. Opportunities, we're sharing them with you. libspaving.com. Thankfully, they've got a lot of dry weather to get a lot of jobs done. I passed by their trucks this morning in our neighborhood, doing a job in our neighborhood there. So some nice folks there right out of the knobs, family-owned company, and you can get your opportunity right there. You can apply online. You can also increase your chances of opportunities with post-secondary education right here at ivytech.edu, our Sellersburg campus right in our backyard, exit 9 miles north of Louisville. And you can get hooked up with dozens of 2-year certification programs here. The credits transfer through to many different universities, like my daughter's transferred to IU, and she's starting off as a second semester sophomore, which is awesome. But again, you can find just a ton of information. And today is Tuesday. Tuesdays at the Tech is one of the programs that they have where you can find out more information and get started here at the Sellersburg campus of Ivy Tech. And one more shout out to my buddy Michael Long here, American Family Insurance. They're one of the few insurance companies that have had a price reduction in their car renewals. If you want to get a quote, tell him I sent you. 812-578-3072. Go to amfam.com. and then put in Michael Long's name, and that'll bring you right to that page right there. All right. Getting through it, Tuesday, September 16th. And taking that out, bringing this back up. If you ever want to reach out, connect, ask a weather question, or if you want to get your business up here on the show or on any of our products, Extol Weather, Extol Media, you want to learn more, just email me, Ben at extolmag.com, Jason at extolmag.com as well. And that, my friends, will do it. Thanks for joining the Weather Family this morning. Eventually, our weather pattern will get more exciting. I think next week we'll have more to talk about as we'll start to ramp up those rain chances. And then you never know what fall can give us. Fall is typically the second severe weather season, especially around late October, November. We can get some strong cold fronts to bring in squall lines behind those systems. Eventually it gets cold enough, we'll be talking about snow, and we know how crazy that gets around here. So the more exciting weather is on the horizon. Enjoy this nice quiet weather for now. All right, thanks again for joining us on Ben at 10. You can always pop on and follow our webpage, Extol Weather on Facebook, Extol Media on YouTube, and my page, Meteorologist Ben Peine, Peine, and extolmag.com/weather. Have a good Tuesday. Have a terrific Tuesday, and we'll see you at the same time, same place tomorrow on our Hump Day Wednesday.